Hello there. The 43rd ASEAN Summit here in the capital Jakarta has just concluded with some of the most notable key projects and agreements between the leaders. And Timor-Leste played such an integral part in the discussions with its imminent memberships into the associations. And here we are with a special dialogue coming to you on TVR Our World. I'm Rahmat Idris.
And I'm Audrey Toyo, and we are incredibly honored to be joined and be in conversation with the Prime Minister of Timor-Leste, His Excellency Sanana Gusmao. Bom dia, Prime Minister. Thank you so much for joining us.
Obrigado for your time,
Yes.
Mr. Prime Minister. You've joined us for two summits now under Indonesia's chairmanship, one in Labuan Bajo and then the second one here in the capital, Jakarta. Please share with us your thoughts on the participation of Timor-Leste as a member in principle observing these summits.
I have to say that from the beginning of the independence, we started to think that we are part of ASEAN, and I expressed this willingness to become member of ASEAN to the former President Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono. And he said, oh, yes, of course. But it was just an exchange of ideas. I was surprised when we went out to talk with the press. He said, Indonesia supports the willing of Timor-Leste to be member of ASEAN. I was like, because it was not yet, no? Because I just transmitted to him our idea, our willingness to be. But after that, we should prepare ourselves to be able to be an active or proactive member. We did. We established a Secretary of State for ASEAN to go around to see what we could do. But in the meantime, I left the government to look at the border with Australia, and we just let it. You mentioned Labuan Bajo.
Yeah.
It was the previous Prime Minister. And for this one, of course, after being sworn in on 1st of July, I said, yes, we are willing, we will do everything. But honestly, we are not yet ready to be, and we have to prepare ourselves essentially in human resources. I said this in my speech on the day of swearing in. Yeah. And suddenly, because busy with the new government, with what to do in these 5 years, suddenly I received an invitation from President Jokowi to come. I was a little bit dubious. I said, go, not go. And I talked with the President, our President of the Republic, and I said, better to go, and I came. I came, yes, participating as observer, yes. As observer only, as observer. And it was a big lesson to me, big lesson because I could understand not only the relationship between the state members, but the common willing, common vision, common thinking of what to do more for ASEAN as a group. I was impressed, and of course, 3 full days there. I have to thank very much. I thank to President. I thank very much the opportunity to come and to learn, and I can realize that actually we have to be, but we have to prepare ourselves better.
Prime Minister, just now you mentioned that Timor-Leste is not yet ready to join ASEAN. What is the timeline for Timor-Leste for joining into ASEAN? Is it 1 year? Is it 2 years? Can you shed a light on that?
Already agreed that will be in 2025. 2025. We are during these days, before and during these days, we had contacts, bilateral contacts, and all the members, we appreciate very much, all the members expressed their disponibility to help us to prepare ourselves, especially, as I said before, especially in human resources, because we don't want to send people coming here for meetings, and when they come, they go back, we ask, and it was about, they talk, they say many things, so we have to be a proactive member, proactive in terms that we know what we think, we know what we say.
Your Excellency, back in August, we know exactly that Timor-Leste is the youngest democracy in the world, and you made a statement saying that should the crisis in Myanmar is not resolved within the ASEAN member states, it's probably not high time for Timor-Leste to join the associations. Do you still stand by that statement, or have you had to change your mind?
Sometimes when you express your opinions in a rush way, you can.
Yeah.
After that, I was a little bit afraid, a little bit afraid and angry with me. Oh, you are crazy. But I have to say that day after day, we started to see that it was the insatisfaction, it was not mine only, not Timor-Leste's only. But after the first session here, after the first session, when all the member states talk about this, it was like a relief. Because every state expresses the dissatisfaction of what is happening, of what is happening there. That's why from the first session until the last session that finished yesterday, I was, yes. Maybe I said a little bit more. We will not be member until it's solved. But I believe that with the pressure that the member state will do, not only ASEAN countries, but USA, Japan, China, UN, everybody expressing the how to say the feelings of please, military junta, you have to change.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Prime Minister. We do have to take a short break now. We'll be right back with more exciting conversations with the Prime Minister of Timor-Leste. Stay with us here on TVRI World.
Welcome back to a special program, still in dialogue with Prime Minister of Timor-Leste, His Excellency Sanana Gusmao. Again, thank you so much, Prime Minister, for joining us on TVRI. Prime Minister, during your meeting with President Jokowi, did you discuss about how to finalize the two segments of the unresolved land border? And when will Indonesia and Timor-Leste have negotiations on the border of maritime?
Well, I have to say that this meeting that you referred to on the 4th, when we arrived, it was more courtesy meeting, because the president should receive all the delegates, and that was why I cannot say that we had enough time to discuss bilateral things. But I can say that during the short time of meeting, we agreed that we will continue, and especially in October, I will come and pay an official visit there. Yes, there. We hope that the issue can be already
Settled.
maybe finalized. Or, that is why I cannot say the meetings we didn't discuss matter by matter, issue by issue, because it was courtesy call. About maritime boundary, you know, it is with Indonesia on land border. It took time, but we hope that we can finish this in a short period. Before, by years, we used to ask the Indonesian side to start looking at maritime border, but there is a notion from UNCLOS that the land commands the sea. Means that we have to finalize the land border first before we go to the sea, because that is why it will depend on the finalization of the land border. I hope that in my official visit to Indonesia, both governments will be ready to do something for the benefits of the two countries.
Your Excellency, the chairmanship of ASEAN under Indonesia's leadership this year has been quite challenging and tumultuous, for lack of a better word, with some of the biggest homeworks that we need to tackle, particularly pertaining the civil strife in Myanmar. So share with us, please, your perspectives on our leaderships under ASEAN this year, particularly in resolving the Myanmar issue. And on behalf of Timor-Leste, how would you, on behalf of the government, contribute, should the time comes, to resolve the matter in the country?
We can only express our opinions.
Yeah.
We are not. But the 5 points that ASEAN leaders adopted before, it was again and again, almost every day, almost every hour. And even United States, United Nations, even Japan, China, Korea, they repeated, do. That's why we hope. We, as observer, we don't have, how to say, we can have a say, but we don't. And that is why we hope that now, from now on, we can see some change in the Myanmar situation. It is very difficult. I was impressed, and I talk as an observer. The good relationship between ASEAN and the 3 big countries in Asia. We say ASEAN plus 3, Japan, Korea, and China.
Yeah.
They raise issues, difficult issues, but openly. And no feeling of rivalry, no, openly, expressing.
Yeah.
So good that I was so impressed, because I believe that we are co-founder of an intergovernmental organization called G7 Plus.
Yeah.
Did you hear about this? G7 Plus. G7 Plus, intergovernmental organization, now has 20 countries there. We got already the status, the permanent observer in the United Nations, to help United Nations to correct the perception about countries. And the G7 Plus is compounded by fragile state, in conflict or post-conflict. Very recently, right now, in Gabon, DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo, in Eritrea, in Niger, there are so many problems. Fragile state. When we say fragile state, we are talking about no state, like with the junta, like the coup d'etat that they are doing in Mali, in Africa. This is fragile state, because a state is, or depending on the system, presidential system or semi-presidential, president, parliament, government, justice sector, these institutions compound the state, no? It functions very well in a democratic way. We say solid state. If it is like this, fragile state, no? That is why I was so impressed. I expressed it in the meeting. I was so impressed by the way, because ASEAN, I like that unity doesn't mean that when I say A, you have to say A and you to say A. No, unity means unity in vision, unity in willingness, in commitments, but we are different. No, we are different. That is why it's so good, so fantastic. That is why we hope, because it was in every session we talk about Myanmar. We remind each other about Myanmar.
So unity does not have to mean conformity, right, Your Excellency? And just yesterday at the closing ceremony, our president handed over the gavel of chairmanship to Lao. Would like to get your take on this, Mr. Prime Minister, in the next segment. Do stay with us right here on the special dialogue here on TVR Our World. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to a special program on TVR World. We are in dialogue with the Prime Minister of Timor-Leste, His Excellency Sanana Gusmao. Prime Minister, next year, Lao PDR is going to assume chairmanship for ASEAN with an emphasis on connectivity as well as resilience. What is your impression and expectations for the chairmanship of Lao PDR?
I believe that Lao has already experience on this, and it will be another occasion, another year for us, and for me especially, individually, to learn. Yes, the resilience, it means many things to us, these words. Because we used to say from fragility to resilience. As a new country, we are still fragile. No? We have to consolidate all the institutions of the state to be solid, to do their duties as it is in the constitution, in the laws. No? That is why resilience for us means. And because I had the opportunity to bilaterally with each one to have meetings, very rapid meetings, short meetings, but yes, I believe that the example that the chairmanship of Indonesia showed already, all the other members, future members, future chairmen, will try their best to do better, better and better and better. And it will be a great opportunity to us to also start to go in, not being yet a member, but to go in and participate in all the activities, just to start having more knowledge about the functioning, about the way ASEAN is working.
On a bilateral note, Mr. Prime Minister, you mentioned a little bit at the bilateral meetings that we've had here in the capital, Jakarta, just last year, as a matter of fact. Indonesia and Timor-Leste commemorated the 20-year of bilateral relations between the two nations. So how have you seen the support of Indonesia so far towards Timor-Leste? And you on the side of President Ramos Horta, where will you bring Timor-Leste next in the blueprint to become yet another industrial and manufacturing hub for Southeast Asia?
Well, we have ambitions, but we don't have ambition in the way bigger than our capability to do something. We are small. We are still in the group of last developed countries. That is why we will take advantage of learning here and there in the ASEAN group to start building our own economy.
Yeah.
I am new in the government, or my government is new.
Yeah.
In each mandate of 5 years. Our vision for these 5 years will be economy, to improve our economy, because for 20 years already, our people feels that the independence is meaning nothing to them, because they don't have the benefits. We import everything, and all the money is coming all out. That's why we have to, in these 5 years, we try our best to improve the economy, especially in the rural areas that people can receive directly in their hands the benefits of of the development of the nation.
Yeah.
We have to be, we follow the world. The world always have two important challenges: health and education.
Health and education.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for us, it is very, very, the challenge is bigger because we are mountainous.
Yeah.
Our people are not
Geographically challenging.
Yes, and the people don't live together. They live here, live there, and we have to assist, especially in health. When we talk about education, it is for the kids. But when we talk about health, it is especially the elder people that need. That's why in social issues, we have the health and education, and in the economic issues, we have to improve our agriculture, many things, in terms that we can start reducing the import. Reducing the import. It would give income to the farmers, to the people that are working in the land.
More domestic production then.
Yes.
Well, Prime Minister, last question. We saw that you were having the time of your life during the gala dinner of the 43rd ASEAN Summit in Jakarta just a couple of days ago.
At the city forest.
Yes, at the city forest in the skyline of Jakarta. How did you feel being there during that gala dinner with the Jakarta skyline celebrating the 43rd ASEAN Summit?
Marvelous.
Marvelous, Prime Minister.
Yeah.
I went there and they said it's city forest. I didn't see forest at all. Few. I said, what is city forest? Suddenly,
Jungle in the middle of the city.
The forests are there. And I was feeling that in some way I was flying. And I saw myself in the
video mapping on
I
the
said,
building.
what? Are you there? Come here. Come here.
Yeah.
And I came back to myself. And it was wonderful, wonderful. With many other delegates, we said it was fantastic. Fantastic. It was so good. And because being in my place, looking at I said, it is like, because you are forced to come, you sit here, and I said, no.
Yeah.
It called me, and somebody on the back pushed me, and I went there, and it was, but fantastic, very good.
Well, for us from the outside looking in, we could only see warmth and closeness of the leaders within ASEAN. As Pak Jokowi would put it, it is a family and standing united. Apparently, this is all that we have.
Problem is,
But please do.
The problem is when we say families, we feel like families, brothers and sisters. It is not between the leaders. It is as a man, as a human being with other human beings. This contact make us feeling the happiness or feeling the suffering of the people.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Prime Minister, for those kind words. And we thank you very much for making the time to talk to us here on TV Our World.
Obrigado, Prime Minister.
Obrigado.
Obrigado.
We wish you safe travels back to Timor-Leste, and we hope we can visit you there someday.
Thank you, terima kasih.
And
Obrigado, Bare.
thank you
For
very
this
much.
opportunity to talk with TV
RI.
Hello.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for this opportunity to introduce myself into TVRI.
Well, the honor is all ours when we say
it's
trust.
mine.
Trust
mine.
us, Mr. Prime Minister. Thank you very much again, and that concludes our very special dialogue with the Prime Minister of Timor-Leste, His Excellency Sanana Gusmai, here in the capital Jakarta. Finally, we bid you adieu. I'm Rahmat Idris.
And I'm Audrey Toyo. Thank you so much for watching, and
I am Sanana Gusmai.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you.